How's it going, you awesome bunch of bakers? Welcome to another sweet treat video. Today we're making Kouign-Amann. They are little flaky, buttery, caramelized treats. Made with laminated leavened bread dough, they kind of resemble little caramelized crispy croissants. This may be one of the richest bakes on my channel. Some of the percentages here are very impressive. With around 83% butter, 50% sugar, and a hydration of 70%. You definitely don't want to be on your own when you pull these bad boys out the oven, because once you pop, you won't be able to stop. It is one of the simplest yet tastiest treats I've ever made. So let me show you how it's done so you can make some too. Starting with the ingredients, we'll need some white bread flour, water, yeast, salt, sugar, butter. We'll need some more salt and sugar and some more butter for the layers. And this butter must be frozen. When it comes to the equipment, we'll need a bowl, scales, a dough scraper, a temperature probe, something to cut the pastry with. A pizza cutter will work perfectly for this, but you can just use a knife if you don't have one. We'll need a rolling pin for rolling out the pastry. We'll need a cupcake tin for baking. Alternatively, use larger muffin tins and just cut the pastry portions into larger pieces. Finally, we'll need the grater for grating the frozen butter. Okay, let's begin by making the seasoned sugar. All you need to do here is mix the salt into the sugar. This will be used not only for the layers, but also for lining the cupcake tin with. It will create a salted caramel effect on the pastry. To prepare the cupcake tin, brush with some melted butter and then sprinkle it with the seasoned sugar. Cover all the cupcake holes with the seasoned sugar completely. First, sprinkle the sugar in, then pick the tray up and shake it around. Then knock all the excess sugar out on the table and collect it with your scraper and place it back into the bowl. We are not finished with it yet, so scrape it up and leave it on the side for later. Let's move on to the dough. And this is a leavened dough, so there is temperature control to consider. My kitchen is around 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm just using room temperature water. To begin the mix, in a large bowl, pour in the water, add the yeast, the salt, the sugar and the melted butter, and then give it all a good mix. You want to dissolve the salt and sugar completely and hydrate the yeast. Then add the flour and mix it to a dough. The dough will be quite loose and sticky because of the high hydration along with the sugar and the butter content. But after just a couple of folds, it will all come together. We want this dough to be loose. It'll be easier to work with, so don't be scared of the sticky dough here. I always like to place my dough in a clean bowl after mixing. And before I place it in there, always wet my hands and give the dough a fold up in the air, just like this. It makes it smoother and it starts building some tension too. Around 24 to 25 degrees Celsius is just about right for this. That's 75 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Bulk fermentation will take 1 hour. It will be punctuated by 2 folds. Cover your dough up, let it ferment for 20 minutes, and then perform the first fold. Wet your hands and your scraper with some water, release the dough from the bowl, pick it up and give it a fold up in the air, just like this. Fold the sides of the dough down and then back up into itself. Keep doing this until the dough ball is nice and tight. The reason why I do it up in the air is to not make a mess on the table. After the first fold, place the dough back into the bowl, cover it up and leave it to ferment for another 20 minutes. And then give it the second fold, which is performed exactly the same way as the previous one. And what was a sticky, soggy mess just 40 minutes ago has become a nice, tight, smooth dough ball. Cover it up, leave it to ferment for another 20 minutes, and that's bulk fermentation done. Now we can start creating the layers. Dust the dough ball generously with flour on both sides, then roll it out to a large rectangle. I did not measure it, but if you want to, then roll it out to about 40 by 30 centimeters, which will be around 16 by 12 inches. Try to make the edges as straight as you can. As I showed at the beginning of the video, the frozen butter was divided into 2 equal portions. For the first stage of the layering process, we are only going to use 1 piece of butter, so leave the other one in the freezer for now. Grate the piece of butter as evenly as you can over the dough. Then flour your hands to prevent them from sticking and press the butter into the dough. Then fold the dough into 3 layers. I have previously made some rough puff pastry videos, but I had never made laminated puff pastry. And that is because it's very difficult to incorporate the butter into the dough. It always breaks up on me when I roll it out. But using this method, where the butter is grated, we don't need to worry about that, because it's already broken. So once you've folded your dough into 3, cover it up and refrigerate it for 30 minutes. This will let the gluten relax, but also firm up the dough by cooling it down. It'll be easier to work with and perform the following folds. 30 minutes later, pull the dough out of the fridge, dust it generously with flour again, and roll it out to a large rectangle, about the same size as previously. Then take the second piece of butter and grate it evenly all over the dough, just as previously. And then once again, dust your hands with flour, press the butter into the dough and fold the dough into 3 layers. But this time, instead of refrigerating it right after the first fold, we will give it a couple more folds. All this folding will ensure that the pastry is nice and flaky. So after folding in the butter for the second time, dust the dough with flour again and roll it out to a large rectangle. Now there is no butter left to incorporate. Instead, we will sprinkle some of that seasoned sugar onto the dough and then fold it up into 3 again, then roll it out once more, sprinkle it with the sugar one more time, and then fold it up again. So in total, we would have rolled this dough out and folded it 4 times. Be aware that the salt and sugar will draw some moisture out of the dough, so you should not leave it in the fridge for too long after adding it. Otherwise it may become a little bit sticky. If you're going to prepare this pastry, let's say a day ahead of time, I would suggest leaving the seasoned sugar out. It'll still be plenty sweet and salty without it. Right, last fold done, wrap it up again, and then place it back into the fridge for 1 more hour of chilling. Whilst it's chilling down, you can start preheating the oven. 170 degrees Celsius, 340 Fahrenheit, fan on. When it comes to final shaping, we will not be using flour for rolling this dough out. Instead, we'll use the remaining seasoned sugar. And again, you have to be aware that it will draw some moisture out of the dough. So you should work quickly, otherwise things may get sticky. I did measure it this time because I wanted the pastries to be more or less the same size. So I rolled it out to slightly larger than 40 by 30 centimeters, which is 16 by 12 inches, more or less. That will make it easy to divide into 12 equal pieces, which will each be 10 by 10 centimeters square, or 4 by 4 inches. First trim the edges, then mark the dough and slice it. A pizza cutter is really the best tool for the job here. When it came to final shaping, I tried 2 different methods. The first one being by picking up all the corners, folding them over so they all meet in the middle and pointing up. For the second one, I decided to fold the opposite corners over each other in the middle. You could of course shape this pastry in many different ways, and you don't need to bake it in muffin tins either. You could even do something similar like what I did with my rough puff pastry custard squares. But I'm using a muffin tin, and that is where they're going next. We'll leave them to rest for around 15 minutes before baking. That'll make them puff up a little bit better in the oven. And now they are ready, so let's get these bad boys in there. They'll take around 25 to 30 minutes to fully bake, even though they are quite small. My oven doesn't give me the most even bake, so I had to take the tray out and turn it around halfway through the bake. Bake them until they have a rich golden brown color. Once they are ready, remove them from the oven and immediately remove them from the baking tin. If you let the caramel cool down, these bad boys will stick to the tray, be very difficult to remove. But there you have it, that's how I make Kouign-Amann. The richest, butteriest, sweetest bake on my channel. I must say the second shaping method was definitely the better one. But at the end of the day, they all tasted the same. Super rich, sweet, buttery, and the pastry so flaky and crunchy. And that chewy salted caramel bottom makes it all the better. These bad boys are very addictive. You don't want to be by yourself when you start cracking them open. Don't forget to check out the pastry and cakes playlist for more videos like this. And let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.